everyone, I'm Paul Palelli.
And I'm Krizia Alexa. Welcome to 2021 in 30 Minutes. It is our special year-end program where we will take a look at stories that have made the news throughout 2021.
That's right, Krizia. And in today's episode, we're going to recap the top sports stories from all around the world, including from Southeast Asia and right here in Indonesia.
And before we take a look at our first story, I want to remind you that we are now also available on Foxtel's Flash Australia, Macau Cable TV Channel 84, Vision Philippines Channel 58, and also on Air Cable Philippines.
All right, let's start our recap with some world football as Italy won the European Championship for the first time since 1968 on July the 12th. Gigi Donnarumma brilliantly saved not one, but two England penalties during the shootout, while Marcus Rashford's attempt was unfortunately denied by the woodwork. Played on the England pride of Wembley turf, the two teams had fought it out to a 1-1 extra time draw. Luke Shaw gave England an early lead after just 2 minutes with a superb half-volley goal.
Leonardo Bonucci leveled the score on the 67th minute as his rebound strike found the net after a scrimmage in front of the England goal.
And after a goalless extra time, the game went into a penalty shootout. Domenico Berardi, Leonardo Bonucci, and Federico Bernardeschi all scored for Italy, whereas only captain Harry Kane and defender Harry Maguire successfully converted their chances to score goals for England.
The young shooters lineup brought by the England manager Gareth Southgate failed to deliver as three of them failed to find the net. Italy, on the other hand, only missed twice.
That's as close as it gets.
Still from the biggest soccer event of the year, but this story is more about the human side of the game with Danish skipper Simon Kjær in the spotlight.
I'm sure you recall this terrifying moment when Danish midfielder Christian Eriksen, without warning, collapsed mid-game on the opening match against Finland. Nobody was nearby when Eriksen fell hard, face down on the touchline.
Kjær was among the first to rush to Eriksen and performed a life-saving action, putting his hand inside Eriksen's mouth to keep him breathing. He then led his traumatized teammates to form a barricade as the paramedics delivered medical attention to Eriksen.
And he also went sideline to comfort Eriksen's wife, Sabrina Kvist, who rushed onto the pitch, obviously distraught over her husband's condition. Eriksen was then taken away from the pitch on a stretcher. He was conscious amidst a standing ovation from 16,000 fans.
Kjær and referee Anthony Taylor received widespread acclaim and were lauded as heroes for their swift action and cool-headedness during the intense moment.
And Finland actually went on to win the match 1-0, though it was Denmark that made it to the semifinals, where they ended up losing to England 2-1. But nevertheless, the Euro 2020 tournament will be remembered as an example that humanity is indeed bigger than any sports competition.
And now we move on to Southeast Asia's greatest. The biggest football competition in Southeast Asia was finally kicked off earlier this December. Took place in two venues in Singapore. This biennial tournament was postponed up to a year due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic.
Indeed, and the finals are getting more exciting for two countries in particular, as their path to ASEAN success is now within their reach.
The Indonesian Garuda team unexpectedly topped the Group B over the favorable team Vietnam. Indonesia had a better goal productivity that proven crucial when the closest contender collected the same points.
Meanwhile, in Group A, Thailand cruised to the semifinals, followed by the host Singapore as the group's runner-up. In the semifinals, Indonesia beat Singapore in front of their crowd, paving their way to the finals to face the all-time leading champion, Thailand. Thailand beat Vietnam in a tight battle in the semifinals, and we're looking forward to extending their lead as the king of Southeast Asian football.
Let's wait for the second leg of the finals to see whether Indonesia beats the odd and be the Southeast Asian champion for the first time, or is it Thailand who will be crowned champion for the sixth time. The second leg of the final match will be played on January the 1st. Make sure you don't miss it.
That's right. It's going to be a great one. Regardless of the outcome of the final match, though, we should give appreciation to our young Garudas and the respective head coach Shin Tae-yong, who lit up the competition with creativity and sheer pace. Indonesia's way of playing football is considerably enjoyable to watch.
That's right.
All right, let's head over now to the United States and hit the hardwood as the Milwaukee Bucks finally won the 2021 NBA Championship. Now, this marks their second time in their team history that they've reached these heights after the mighty Kareem Abdul-Jabbar led them to their very first championship title.
Milwaukee Bucks finished Phoenix Suns 4-2 after defeating the Suns 105-98 on their home court in Game 6 of the NBA Finals.
A very jubilant Giannis Antetokounmpo was named as the Finals MVP after his brilliant display during the Finals. The Greek national team from Nigerian descent scored 50 points in Game 6, along with 14 rebounds, and turned in one of the greatest performances in NBA Finals history.
As said before, it was their second ever championship title, the first one after 50 years ago.
Yeah, bad news for the Phoenix Suns, though, and their fans, but they promised to bounce back in the Western Conference the following season, paving their way to their prolonged first championship title, and they're doing very well so far. Right now, they're top position in the West, and the Milwaukee Bucks are holding third position, so we could very well see a rematch of the finals this year.
All right, now let's move on to the next story, where this year's Indonesia Basketball League competition was successfully done in an unusual way.
Indeed it was. The 2021 IBL season was held over 2 rounds in a bubble system. Now, this bubble system was similar to one that was implemented in the NBA during the pandemic. The regular season started on March 10th and was held in a closed environment at the Robinson Resorts in Cisarua, Bogor, West Java. For no less than a month, 12 teams competed under very strict health protocols.
No foreign players were eligible for this year's competition due to traveling restrictions. This was a perfect chance for local players, especially the rookies, to shine. Teams had to endure living inside a closed bubble and under tight schedule. 4 of them eventually made it through to the playoffs. Meanwhile, the 2 teams that led each division were automatically through to the semis.
And after hard-fought games in the playoffs that were held in the second bubble at the Mahaka Sports Center in North Jakarta, Louvre Dewa United Surabaya and West Bandit Solo were through to the semis. However, they encountered some stiff competition in the form of Pelita Jaya Bakri Jakarta and Satria Muda Pertamina Jakarta, and were sent home in just 2 games.
The king of the North, Satria Muda Pertamina Jakarta, claimed the crown after winning the 3rd game against fierce rival Pelita Jaya Bakri Jakarta in style. Satria won 2-1 in the best of 3 games format to successfully clinch their 11th title in the franchise's history.
And obviously this year's competition will be remembered for the IBL's success in organizing a major competition with flying colors amidst all the uncertainty at that time brought about by the pandemic. Competition was held without any blemish. 0 COVID-19 transmissions were recorded that we're happy to report.
Amazing. And with the threat of COVID-19 steadily on the decline, competition in the IBL will apply the usual format next year, making this year's format one of a kind.
And we hope that one goes well as well. All right, guys, we are going to take a short break, but make sure you stick around because we have got more recaps from the world of sports, some of the best highlights right here, only on 2021 in 30 minutes. Welcome back to 2021 in 30 minutes. See today's special year-end program. You know what they say, I feel the need for speed, which is why we're going to right into our next series of highlights from the world of racing. The final round of the 2021 World Superbike Championship that was recently held at the Mandalika Circuit in Lombok, West Nusa Tenggara, was a big success. Now, despite setbacks from severe weather, the action set up a high standard the following day. The coronation of this year's champion also took place at this mighty circuit. November the 21st was a special day for Indonesia as the newly opened Mandalika Circuit in Lombok, West Nusa Tenggara held its very first competition. After a 1-day delay due to heavy rain, the final round of the 2021 World Superbike Championship finally took place at this circuit. The second race took off the following day with some restrictions over weather concerns, But despite the confirmation that there will be no delay, organizations decided that the race will only have 12 laps. Ray once again took the first place while Razgatlioglu finished fourth. Nevertheless, he had to bury his dream of being the first rider to ever win 7 consecutive world titles, and he conceded the title to maiden champion Razgatlioglu. All right, we've got more racing recaps for you as MotoGP legend Valentino Rossi announced earlier this year that the 2021 season would be his last, drawing the curtains on his 26, yes, that's right, I said 26 seasons of world motorsport in his career. Rossi is undoubtedly one of the most decorated racers in the history of world motorsport. The Italian had won 7 Premier Class titles and 9 overall across MotoGP 250 and 125cc classes. Rossi had taken 115 Grand Prix victories out of 414 starts during his 26-year career. In August, just before the start of the Syrian Grand Prix, the man nicknamed the Doctor announced his retirement from MotoGP. It was quite an emotional statement thrown in the same ground as he first took his first Grand Prix podium in the 125cc class back in 1996. The 42-year-old made his Grand Prix debut in the 125cc class in 1996, and he was crowned champion in the division the following year, before stepping up to the 250cc class in 1998 and winning the division title the following year in 1999. All was done with the Nastro Azzurro Aprilia racing team. Now, in the 2000 season, he was signed by Honda, and in 2001, he dominated to show all season to be crowned champion in the Premier Class for the very first time. And the rest, as they say, is history, as he won another 6 titles, creating famous rivalries along the way with the likes of Max Biaggi, Sete Gibernau, Casey Stoner, and even former teammate Jorge Lorenzo. Such fierce rivalries helped propel MotoGP into the mainstream. His legacy in MotoGP will continue through his VR46 Riders Academy that helps young talents to race at the highest tier of motorcycle racing. It has been said as well that his own VR46 team will make its debut at the 2022 MotoGP Championship. All right, we're going to keep it on the track here as the Netherlands this year couldn't be more proud as they now have their very own Formula One champion in the form of the super fast babyface driver Max Verstappen, and that took place on December the 12th. Apparently, the sky's the limit for this young racer as he's already broken several records on his way to the top. His journey to become 2021 Formula One champion was second to none as he started the last race of the season, tied on points at the top of the standings with reigning champion, the man himself, Lewis Hamilton.
The 24-year-old Dutchman earned the right to switch his regular race number 33 to number 1 next season after he clinched championship title on a dramatic fashion. He started the race with identical point to Lewis Hamilton of Mercedes, no short of drama right from the beginning. They shared the same points of 369.5, although Verstappen had a little advantage of winning 9 races this season to Hamilton's 8. It was the second time this condition happened in the history of Formula One. The first time occurred in 1974 when Brazilian Emerson Fittipaldi tied in points with Clay Regazzoni just before the last race. The 2021 title race went into full speed and mouth-watering finale as the two competitors went battling hard until the last lap of the season. The bout was wheel-to-wheel scrapping for the third of the lap, with their cars were separated by paper width on few turns. There were some arguments going on towards the result, but it was never between the two racers or their respective teams. It was the complication on the regulation by the Formula One race director Michael Masi who broke the protocol set on his office. Despite the ongoing controversy, Max Verstappen proved he was worthy 2021 champion by performing one of the most exciting seasons alongside the 7-time Formula One champion, Lewis Hamilton.
Now, I'm sure all of you racing fans who tuned in for this one may have several arguments with each other in regards to the safety car incident. But whatever you think of it, there's no getting around the fact that Max Verstappen is truly a deserving Formula One world champion this season. Now, after all that news and all the action and highlights from Formula One, it's time for Krizia to come back here and bring us some information that took place on the court.
That is right, Paul. By the way, looking good in that racing suit.
Yeah, I'm feeling fast.
Well, the rivalry between three top tennis players intensified this year as Novak Djokovic paved his way to reach the Golden Slam title. He managed to equal the achievement of Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal in the overall Grand Slam title with 20. Djokovic clinched his 20th Grand Slam title on the prestigious Wimbledon turf back in July. He beat Matteo Berrettini to secure the title tie with Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. It was his third Grand Slam title this year after previously winning the Australian Open and French Open in February and June, respectively. On Wimbledon women's singles, Ashley Barty of Australia beat Karolina Pliskova of the Czech Republic in the final, making her the fourth player to win the women's single title after previously winning the girls' singles title. She then retained the WTA #1 single ranking just to reach the semifinal. It was also the first Wimbledon final since 2014 that did not feature one of the Williams sisters. Serena retired from her first round match due to calf injury, while Venus lost to Tunisian sensation Ons Jabeur on the second round. Now, moving on to the next story. Indonesia ended a 19-year wait to become the most successful country in the history of the Thomas Cup. This feat was achieved after the Merah Putih contingent won the championship title for the 14th time on October 17th. Meanwhile, China secured second place and Japan shared the third spot with the host Denmark.
It was a historic moment when the Indonesian contingent lifted the Thomas Cup trophy for the first time since 2002 on October 17. Indonesia is now the most successful country in the history of the competition with 14 titles. The national anthem was played while Indonesian athletes celebrated the hard-won milestone. Meanwhile, in Uber Cup, the Indonesian team finished in the Big Eight.
I feel very happy because this is first time for me and all of them. So we wait 19 years and finally we can bring back home.
Anthony Ginting gave Indonesia the early lead after beating China's ace Lu Guangdu in the opening match. Fajar Alfian and Muhammad Rian Ardianto doubled in the lead shortly after making a surprising victory over He Jiting and Zhou Hao Tong. Finally, Jonathan Christie's rubber game win over Lee Se-feng ensured the return of the trophy to Indonesia. It also marked the country's redomination in this biennial tournament.
#2021 in 30 minutes. We'll be back after the break. In the meantime, don't forget to follow our social media accounts if you haven't already. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at See Today News. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone. You're still tuned in to 2021 in 30 minutes. See today's special year-end program. The 20th National Sports Week in Papua officially concluded in October. West Java continued its streak by topping the overall medal tally. It marked the first successful major event in the easternmost province of Indonesia, the first of its kind to be done on the history of Indonesia's 76th year of independence. Now, even though there were some incidences that happened and probably a little bit of inconveniences for the officials due to the distance of the organizing cities, the overall evaluation of this event remains outstanding.
West Java continued its winning streak from the previous sport week by topping the overall medal tally. The province took home 130 gold, 105 silver, and 155 bronze. After lowering the National Sport Week flag to the tune of Bagimu Negeri, the Papua provincial government officially handed over the role of host to Aceh and North Sumatra, venues where the 2024 Games will be held. The 21st National Sport Week will be the first time for two provinces to host the event, in line with the Youth and Sport Ministry Decree number 71.
Hello!
Look at you.
Hi, Paul.
Hi.
Citizens of the world. I'm so proud to wear this badminton suit since I'm representing the victory of Gracia Poli and Apriani Rahayu in women's double badminton Tokyo Olympic 2020. And speaking of Tokyo Olympic, I have news from that event. Yes, it's no other than the Olympics taking place in Tokyo, Japan. The Summer Olympics was postponed for a year due to the pandemic.
That's right. Now, this once in every 4-year event was a major success for the Japanese as the country had set a new record in organizing this mega sporting event. The Tokyo 2020 Games showcased the evolution of the Olympic program, introducing new sports and events that strengthened the timeless appeal of the Olympic Games for the newer generation.
There were 339 events contested in 33 sporting categories, making it the most in Olympic history. There were also Olympic debuts for several sports such as skateboarding, sport climbing, surfing, and karate, as well as events such as BMX freestyle and 3-on-3 basketball.
Yeah, it's a lot of new stuff happening in the Olympics this time around. The expansion of the program also included more gender-equal competition opportunities. The Tokyo 2020 Games were the most gender balanced in history, with nearly 50-50 ratio of both male and female athletes.
And almost 60% of the venues made use of existing facilities from the previous Olympics held back in 1964. The facilities, however, saw renovations in energy use to underline the mission of creating a low-carbon emission event.
I think that's one of my more favorite things about this Olympics. Right, and not only at the Olympics, but Indonesian athletes also shone really brightly at the Paralympics.
Yes, held just a month after the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics shared the same atmosphere. Also here in Indonesia, the hype of the tournament went sky high when medals were won.
The Indonesian National Paralympics Committee brought 23 athletes to Tokyo, Japan to participate in 7 sports. In this year's edition, Indonesia made its debut in paracycling and also para-badminton as a new sport. Hanik Puji Astuti, a young parachuter from Yogyakarta, was given the honor to be the flag bearer of Indonesian contingent. However, it was Leani Ratri Oktila who stood in the spotlight after she won not 1 but 2 gold medals alongside 1 silver. Competed in para-badminton, Leani won gold in women's doubles with Halimatus Sadia and mixed doubles with Hari Susanto. She also collected 1 silver through women's singles. In her debut in Paralympics, she already lauded as Indonesia's most successful Paralympian.
They were not the only athletes who made the sporting headlines in their respective country. There were some other events related to sport which worth our attention. Let's have a look at some of them. Hiddelin Diaz, a heavy lifter from the Philippines, brought her country to joy as he grabbed the first ever gold medal for the country's participation in the Olympics. The ecstatic moment made her a hero and, of course, a celebrity. Not only gaining recognition, she was also showered with prizes and appreciation, not only from the government, but also from the community and sponsors.
Meanwhile, dark clouds appeared in one of the toughest sporting events, the China Ultra Marathon, where major casualties occurred during the race. 21 runners lost their lives while participating in this long-distance race due to hypothermia. This accident happened when high winds and freezing rains hit the race course, while the race organizer failed to respond to those severe weather conditions. Members of high authority had been disciplined, and the head of the event's organizer had been detained and now faces criminal charges.
Singaporean badminton player Loh Kian Yew has sealed his place in history by becoming the first Singaporean to win a BWF World Championship title. The world number 22 player defeated India's Kidambi Srikanth in the men's single final in Huelva, Spain on December the 19th to cap off a fairy tale run.
Now, this was their second career clash between these two, where previously Srikanth gained victory during their first meeting. The country danced for joy as this victory marked the best final performance for Singapore in all World Championships. So what a great year this has been for sports, Krizia. Despite the pandemic, major events, sporting events still happened, international events, as well as right here in Indonesia, National Sports Week took place, went off without a hitch. The pro basketball and football leagues are still going on for a second season now in a row, and we look forward to much more better competition in a much safer environment this coming year.
Definitely.
All right, that's all we have here for the 30 minutes of World of Sports Roundup.
And as we are heading to 2022, let's hope that the upcoming year will be a lot better than this year. May you have a good health, lots of happiness, and obviously a great new year.
Amen to that. And don't forget to always stay tuned to See Today, as we're going to continue delivering you news from Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and around the world.
See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
See you next year.
Phoenix now starting to pull away.